AITAH for going to the hospital again after my husband and a doctor said I was overreacting and still being upset about it. I feel very strange and guilty and sad about this whole situation, and I really don't even know why. So I thought maybe someone could give me their opinion, and it'll help me clear these feelings up. I'll try to make this as short as possible. Basically, a few days ago, Monday night, I, F22, started to have really bad stomach cramps at about 4 p.m. I thought it was indigestion maybe or menstrual cramps, so I let it go for a few hours. At around 6 p.m., it was bad enough I mentioned it to my husband, M30, who also saw me going to the restroom every 2 seconds. I thought I had to use the restroom, but I wasn't, and I was getting concerned. My husband teased me, told me to take some Pepto-Bismol, and didn't mention it again, except for being an asshole about me going to the bathroom. But shortly after that, I started having some bleeding and worse cramps that were coming and going in waves. During the worst of it, I could barely stand or talk, so I asked my husband to take me to the emergency room. Now, for context, I've never been to the ER in my life. I've hardly ever gone to the hospital except for one time when I was 19, because I broke my foot tripping over a tree root. But the way my husband was reacting, you would have thought I'm there every day. The wait time in the ER was over 2 hours, so I told him he could go home and come get me when I could leave. I didn't expect him to actually leave, but he did. When they finally called me back, the doctor listened to my symptoms for 2 seconds and told me it was just menstrual cramping and gave me some Tylenol and let me go. Of course, I went home and my husband was all, "I told you so, but I'm glad it soothed your anxiety." Whatever. I tried to sleep, but I couldn't. I was soaking through pads in an hour and a half and the cramps just weren't stopping. At around 2 a.m., I was in so much pain I was crying. I was in the bathroom, so I don't even think I was being that loud, but my husband woke up to see what was wrong. I told him what was happening, and he asked me if there was any chance I could be being a bit dramatic. I have no idea why my husband was acting this way that night. I ended up taking myself back the ER. I was so embarrassed when it was the same lady who checked me in the first time. She was really nice, though, and the same doctor came back. I was actually having a miscarriage. He was very apologetic, and it was all fine. I got taken care of, but it was all just very disheartening. Not to mention the fact I was miscarrying, when I didn't even know I was pregnant. I came home crying, as I would think is normal. When I told my husband what was happening, he was also very apologetic, but I just feel weird and stupid. I have no idea why. I think people have miscarriages kind of often, and I think most of the time they don't require any medicine or anything. I just feel embarrassed and sad for having such an awful experience. I have no idea. My husband hasn't even mentioned his behavior or apologized for it. Am I being overdramatic? Is this not that serious? AITAH for being so upset still?